What's up, guys? Back with another video. Something that has been requested a lot is the vinyl wrap versus paint video. I'm finally gonna get this video together for you guys to give you my opinion on it. I did see Duramax Jack's video on this, and I just wanted to add a couple pointers of my own, as I do still have some pieces on this truck that are wrapped. I have other pieces that are recently painted, some others that have been painted for over a year, and I can kind of give you my opinion and show you guys on camera what the real difference is. Now stick around, because I have something at the end of the video I'm extremely excited about. I'm gonna give you guys a sneak preview of the new wheels on this truck. I'm gonna put it on, I'm not gonna show you guys what wheels they are yet. I am gonna let you guys see what the new wheels are gonna look like. You'll be able to see that Stan's game is back in full effect by the video, but I won't show you the actual design until I get tires on them and I have the truck on the ground again. I do still have the truck sitting here. As soon as I get the mirrors back, I can't wait to get this thing back on the road, get the new wheels and tires together on the truck and start driving it around again. I do have to do some other maintenance on the truck as well. I just ordered new pads and rotors. I ordered new tie rods, because when I pull one of these wheels off here, I will show you guys these PPE tie rods, how the ball joint has just completely deteriorated. It's something I saw when I was looking into buying those tie rods, but I didn't think it happened to me, of course. I don't drive the truck that often, but it has. I filled up with grease multiple times, and it just oozes right out onto the driveway, and it's terrible, and I don't want to be driving down the road with these new wheels and tires, and a wheel falls off. Don't want to be one of those guys. So getting into the thick of things, I'm going to walk around the truck here, show you guys some pieces that are painted, some that are wrapped, and I'm actually going to do a little project and get one piece that's wrapped, unwrapped, because these new wheels will play along with it very nicely. So I'm gonna start out with the front of the truck here, and the front of the truck was recently painted after I had all the vinyl removed. Now, these headlights right here, they were built by Legends Off-Road, I'd say 2 years ago. They're still completely flawless. I was scared about putting the pod in there and having it come loose over time and sagging, and also having this halo up here, have LEDs die out on it or something. Nothing's happened yet. They're still working flawless. The paint is mint. Nothing's chipping or flaking inside, which I'm very stoked about. Now, the paint on these is, like I said, about 2.5 years old. Now, the rest of the front of the truck, my whole grille, the whole bumper was wrapped up until about 3 weeks ago. Now, the bow tie, I did have that painted. That was painted, I think, before the headlights. I'm not 100% sure. I have to go back in my photos, but basically the front end had a vinyl wrap grille, vinyl wrap bumper. And when I recently had everything painted and I had everything apart, I had some of the plastics as well painted. So I just want to show you guys how wet and new this is. I'm very happy with how this came out. Now, the whole front end was chrome, and of course that is disgusting. So I had to get this thing wrapped when I first got the truck. It was the first thing I did. Within 2 weeks of having the truck, that's the first mod I did, and I was super stoked about it. Now, it looked great from the beginning in certain spots, but what I can say, some cons were right here. At least the guy that wrapped mine had to run multiple pieces up to here and up here and around here, because it wasn't able to get one piece to run right up around this corner and stay tight to it. It kept coming up in this corner here. So that was something that looked terrible, but from being this far away, most people couldn't even tell. Now, the bow tie, I did have this painted at the time, but of course, he didn't take the bow tie out, and running the wrap up to here and cutting it, you were able to see from this angle right here, before you could see chrome as a wrap would come around this corner and bend here. And basically what I'm getting at is, with the wrap, when you have sharp corners like this, unless you have someone who's very talented, it's gonna be very hard for them to get it to look perfect. Now, the bumper is a bigger panel. That, and it's not too hard to wrap. That looked beautiful for a long time. It's the smaller nook and cranny areas that really bothered me. Now, like I said, the whole front is currently painted and there's no wrap on the front. The only wrap left I have on this truck are these pieces here on the door handles, and this right here. Now, as you can see with the mirrors on the truck, he was not able to wrap all the way to the end here. So if you were to look at it from here, though, when you walk up to the truck, you can see how close this wrap is to the paint. This is paint, this is wrap. Now, this is 3M white aluminum, and it matched perfect. I mean, I'm honestly happy with how this looks. The only thing that I wasn't happy with, the only thing I've noticed now, looking at the paint on the front end compared to the wrap before, I am able to tell that it is a lot glossier looking. So when I saw the wrap come from the bumper here up to the fender, I was able to see that the bumper was not as glossy, but I was still happy with it. It was still pretty, it was metallic, caught the sun, all the flakes and everything in it, but it wasn't as glossy. Having it painted now, I am very happy with it. I have always wanted to take these pieces off here. One reason I haven't is because right after I got it wrapped, I took my girlfriend to lunch. We came out and she said, "Hey babe, I think someone hit your door." So of course this piece here was all pushed back like so. And it was all bunched up right here, and I was able to push it out and kind of lay it back down and leave it there. And I haven't taken these pieces off because I didn't want to take these pieces off. Someone throws the door open, bam, slams into my door, and I have to worry about actual paint at that time. So I think I may leave these pieces on, but with the new wheels being shiny, just like the stocks are, I think it may work very well, and I can protect my doors at the same time. Now, looking at the cons to the wrap, you can see that right here, there's going to be little areas on these corners that aren't going to be perfect as if they were painted. And it's the same thing with these door handles. This right here, you can see with me opening and closing a lot of time, this has balled up here and looks terrible. Now, of course, you just walking by the truck and taking a look at it, you can't see that. But of course, me as the owner, I know it's there and it bugs the hell out of me. So I am going to take these off and get these painted. These pieces here, I'm honestly happy with the wrap here. And I know I'm kind of jumping around a little bit. I'm going to try and make this a little more clear cut on certain panels at the end of this video and kind of show you what works well and what doesn't as far as wrap goes. This is one piece though that wrap works perfect. It's a pain getting these pieces off and getting them painted. That's a nightmare. My dad had his painted, they were black, and they started flaking off within 6 months. So this being chrome wouldn't help any better. So I definitely plan on just leaving the wrap on here, as I am happy with that there, and it looks beautiful, especially being an access point and the window going up and down and your shirt laying over it. This is also a good thing to have the vinyl here because paint would get scratched up like crazy. Now on the back of the truck here, this is all completely painted. I did pick this up from Roland Diesel Silverado on Instagram. He had this bumper on the back of his truck, and through talking to him, I knew he was gonna be taking it off and putting an off-road bumper that he has on the truck currently, and you can see that I now have his old bumper. So he's about an hour and a half away from me. I went up to his shop. He was a super cool dude. He actually helped me swap the bumper out at his shop, which was awesome. It's pretty much a two-man job, having to jack the actual bed off the frame of the truck to get the bumper out. I don't know why GM designed it that way. It is super annoying if you ever need to swap bumpers, but I am completely happy with this paint. Of course, I still have a wrapped bumper that came off the truck. Now, that wrap did look fine, but you could really only wrap here and all the chrome on the bumper. All the plastic you cannot wrap, so that's a no-go. Now, what I can say about the back, if you have a new GM truck and you want to paint match because your bumpers are chrome, having someone wrap these bumpers in the back, to me, looked flawless for the full year and a half or however long I had on the truck. I had zero issues with it, zero complaints. Now, if you're gonna go through the trouble of paint matching the plastics, at that point, just paint match the bumper as well. But if you're looking for a quick fix on wrapping the bumper, I was honestly happy with it. I know that Jack had some issues around the sensors in a couple areas. Mine worked out pretty well. If I was ever in that situation again, I don't know if I would want to rip the bumper off the truck just to paint the chrome. I would probably wrap it unless I was gonna paint the whole thing. Now the front bumper here, this is something as well that if you only want to get the chrome wrapped, you can get these bumpers off the truck. There's pretty much 4 bolts up under here once you take the grill off, holding it on. You have 2 here, 2 over there. You have a couple bolts under the truck for support brackets. And this bumper comes off, I can have it off in 5 minutes if I was hauling ass. So if you wanted to get one of these wrapped the right way, it's best to take it off the truck and so they can actually wrap it in one piece. Some people may be able to do it with it on the truck, but as a vinyl wrap person, I was told with these bumpers, coming up here and around this corner, they didn't have enough room to grab it tight, so they had to do 2 pieces originally. I hated it because I had a seam that ran across all along here on that ridge of the bumper, and he said the only way to do it correct was to take the bumper off. So I had him take the bumper off, which I found out later was super easy. Could have done it myself and saved the labor, but he wrapped it all in one piece. I was completely happy with it. And this is one of those areas where I would say, if you aren't OCD like I am, which I'm actually happy this truck's in the shop, I'm not driving it that much, because when you have the paint on the front here like my dad has, I had the wrap while he had the paint, and I haven't had this bumper on the road yet. This is still brand new paint, haven't driven it yet, haven't had any chips, it's completely new. My dad's is painted though, and he gets chips. Of course, you're gonna get chips on the front of your car. It's any car, any truck. If anything's painted, you're gonna get chips. Now I can tell you with the vinyl wrap, I didn't have that issue. My thought process is rocks that are bouncing on the road and flying into the bumper, the paint is not able to hold it nearly as well as the wrap is. The wrap is, you know, decently thick, and it's able to absorb those rocks hitting it. And unless it hits it pretty hard and actually tears it, you're not really gonna damage that wrap at all. So another thing is if you don't care about the painted plastics, honestly, wrapping a bumper is not a bad idea. Now, when looking at the grille and the headlights, this is something I'd recommend getting painted. If you possibly have a high country and that's the only chrome part on your truck and you want it color matched, I would not recommend wrapping it. If you have a truck that's all chrome in the front and you just want paint match bumpers to look like a high country, or that's just the look you like the look of the high country, I'd recommend wrapping the bumper in front and back, and you're going to be happy with it. It's going to be the most cost-effective way, and it's going to be able to withstand a lot of the abuse that the paint isn't going to be able to. But when you come looking here into the headlights and the grille, on all these sharp corners, right here, of course up here, right here, here, all the sharp corners, the vinyl does not want to stick well to, especially over time and being out in the weather. Especially if you live up somewhere colder. With having the freezes and change in temperatures, probably can experience it worse than how I did down here in Florida, but I still was not happy with it. Now, once again, I know my Instagram pictures always make it look flawless. When you were up close to it, if you've seen it, you would see in these areas right here, the issue is the wrap would not want to stick. It would start bubbling up, and I could push it to go down, let go, and it come right back up. So I was definitely not happy with that. But I would say if you're gonna wrap your truck, or you wanna wrap something, it's cost effective, you don't have to worry about the paint chipping when rocks bounce into it. I would say the bumpers are fine. I would say your door handles are fine for the most part. I mean, even on this one's fine. I'm not having any issues with this one or the back one. The window guard, this piece is fine, especially if you always have the windows down. You have your arm hanging over it. You're not gonna scratch this up like you would if you painted it. These pieces here on the truck, I would recommend either leaving them chrome or taking them off the truck. That's just my opinion, but if you do want to leave them on the truck, like I did for such a long time, and I know I'm contradicting myself there, but I honestly didn't want to go through the hassle of taking them off and having all that goo I got to get off. Now, I know it's easy. I have a 3M eraser wheel. I just haven't wanted to spend the time after debadging everything else on this truck. I don't want to spend the time on these long strips here. Now, I am going to take the wrap off. The wrap isn't terrible there, but once again, when you're wrapping around a harsh corner like this, I mean, this one looks pretty good. And excuse me for the dirty truck. This one looks pretty good. Most people wouldn't be able to tell that that's not paint. But for me, there are some areas walking around the truck seeing it that do bother me. So I don't think I'd ever wrap those again. Once I get this truck back on the road more, I will come back with another video of having everything paint matched and showing you guys an honest review of, let's say, 6 months on the road of road abuse and how it holds up, as I have painted plastics, I have painted chrome. The headlights have honestly fared pretty well. I don't have really any issues, and these have not been repainted in 2 years. Everything else was wrapped, like I said, for a long time, so it was pretty much protected, and that's one of the main reasons I'd probably recommend wrapping instead of painting your bumpers. It's cost effective in the front and on the back end, because you're not having to always touch it up, because it's either you're gonna touch it up or you're gonna live with it and it's gonna look terrible. I mean, even my thought process was getting this painted, I wanted to get it clear broad, but at that point, I just have too much money in it. I'd rather just paint it, and when it gets chipped, I'll just have it touched up again because my painter's right next door. So it's very easy to get anything fixed that I need to. Now back to the exciting ending to this video. I'm going to slap on one of the wheels. I have them sitting right over here in the shop. They came in today. I'm super stoked. I'm trying to find a place down here in Southwest Florida that is able to mount and balance them and not vibrate like crazy. To be honest, the reason I sold my 24x14 forces I had before was because I couldn't do over 50 miles an hour. They vibrate like crazy. I wasn't a fan of them, but I will say that I think the shop that mounted and balanced them, I think he did an amazing job mounting them for black wheels and stretching 420s on 14 wides. There wasn't one scratch. But as far as the balancing, he didn't have the best machinery in his shop, and I think that might have been where it was lacking. So I am a little skeptical about running 14s again and then vibrating and it just being an ongoing issue, and I'll probably be selling them if that happens again. But I am super stoked. I love the look of 14 wides. I will in the next video make a video on what these wheels actually look like on the truck, show you what it takes to run that wheel on this truck lowered, and you guys can see how much trimming you'd have to do if you wanted to copy this setup. I'll give you an honest review on how they ride. I think you guys are gonna be very excited and very happy with the wheels I chose. I did change, if you look back on all my pictures on Instagram, you can see that I've gone with a similar wheel every time I switch wheels. I think this is the 4th set of wheels in 2 years, and I went a completely different route with these wheels, and I'm super stoked to be trying something new. So I'm gonna get to work and get one of these stock wheels off here and slap one of these other wheels on so you guys can see how she looks. Just a quick note real quick, you can see these are the boots on these tie rods. This one's honestly not too bad, but you can see where it's cracked, and I filled up with more grease. It's just oozing out. If I had a better camera, which I'll have here shortly, you'd be able to see all these hairline cracks in this boot here, but the one on the driver's side especially does not hold any grease at all. That's the reason why I'll be replacing these tie rods. They are PPE. I got about 10,000 miles out of them, so as far as buying these again, they do not just sell a new boot here, so I have to buy a whole new tie rod. So at that point, I have kryptonite ones on the way, and if those ever fail, I can just replace the whole tie rod end assembly here, and I have to buy a whole new tie rod. Wow. Wow. Hopefully I can still turn after this. So look, I slapped some tires on it. These are, can't give the wheels away yet, I about said it. But these are 14 wides, that is with no spacer on, and wow, is that sitting wide. And before I end the video here, I did pick these wheels up from 3Cal Sal on Instagram. I was talking to him about a couple things with L5P, and somehow the interest in new wheels on my truck popped up, and he was able to hook me up, got me some good pricing on it. So if you are interested, hit him up. 3Cal Customs will hook you up. Look forward to the next video where I have these being reviewed, and you guys can actually see what these look like, and hopefully you guys love them. I love them. I'm a fan of them so far. These are looking killer. I'll catch you next time, guys. Peace.